with fear and all kinds of things right now. In fact, after my car accident 18 and a half years ago, I dealt with a lot of fear. The fear of becoming able to walk again, the fear of not being able to talk and having to relearn to talk. And I have dealt with a lot of fear over my 18 and a half years in physical therapy. But tonight I have with me a lovely lady, Linda Ugelow. I believe I should have asked her how to pronounce her last name, but I will bring her up and introduce you guys to her. Hey,
Hey,
so
Jeff.
did I say your last name right?
I say Ugolo.
Oh, Ugolo. All right. Sorry, I should have clarified that with you before we started. I didn't think of it though. So, if you would like to take a couple minutes here and run down a little introduction about yourself, tell everybody where you're from and what you do and why you do what you do, and help people get to know the real Linda.
Yes, so my name is Linda Ugelow, and I help people overcome the fear of speaking in public, expressing themselves, whether that's on camera like we're doing now or live in front of people, in any kind of setting, whether it's meetings or talking from the stage or networking. And why I do this? Because apparently I was always terrified of public speaking. And when I had an experience of overcoming that myself, and I saw how actually when you know how to look at it and work with it in a particular way, you can change your experience rapidly. I thought, I can't keep this to myself. I have to share it with people who have been suffering like I suffered, so that they can do the work that they're dreaming about, so they can follow their whatever they feel like is theirs to grab a hold of in their life. So, I didn't set out to be a public speaker. Oh, then you're back on. I was thinking, oh, am I here by myself? Okay, I'll keep talking.
No, you're by yourself.
Yeah.
So, where are you from?
I live in Boston, Massachusetts. Yeah.
Boston, Massachusetts.
Yep.
You
Nice.
don't talk like a Bostoner.
I do not. No, I grew up in New York, but I don't talk like a New Yorker for the most part because my mother made me practice elocution lessons. Elocution.
That is awesome. And
Yeah.
I would like to point out that Kelly Harder said hi, Linda.
Hey,
So
Kelly.
I just wanted to let you see that.
Thank you.
And we will go ahead and get started here with the show. Now, I know I sent you a format of the show, but we are going to be doing that a little differently tonight because we are going to be talking about her system to help you overcome your fears. So, if you would like to start, I don't know how you start, but I'll let you start.
Okay, great. So I just wanted to rewind a little bit that I never felt like I knew how to articulate myself. I didn't know how to talk about the things I was passionate about. I always felt like I knew I had passion. I knew I was very involved in dance for a long time, and I gave it up because I felt like I just didn't know how to talk about it, how to spread it. I mean, the word marketing wasn't even in my vocabulary. And then after having a child, I ended up following my interest, I would say, of organic gardening and then organic farming. And I found myself as a farmer. And I was listening to a podcast about starting the right business. And all of a sudden it hit me. I was in the wrong business. I was really meant to have an impact on people. I've always dreamt about having a legacy, you know, doing something that made the world better. I had no idea what that was. But in that moment, I had this feeling that if I didn't look for it, if I didn't go after it, I would get to the end of my life and I would die with regret. So that's my motive. That was my motivation. So, yeah.
Sorry, this show is actually about, and this lines up perfectly with what you just said. This show is called Make Every Second Count because my life was almost taken away from me. And I now make every second count because I have an attitude of gratitude. I am still here. I am still alive and kicking it. I am given another chance to be here, and I want to make all that count. So I completely understand the leaving a legacy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So as I said, I had no idea what that was going to be, but I knew that I had something to offer. And about 5 years ago, there was something called live streaming that became popular on an app called Periscope. It was one of the first two apps. It was Meerkat and Periscope. And I decided I'm going to be an early adopter. And at the time they said, oh, you've got to get on every single day. So every single day I got on, and I tell you, Jeff, it was scary because there was no algorithm and people would come in from all over the world to watch. And my heart was pounding. And I kept thinking, oh my God, how long will it take me to get over this? And people kept saying, oh, just do it every day. You'll get used to it because practice makes perfect, right? Practice gets you over the fear. So I was gung-ho. I was working with it. I was doing jumping jacks and dancing and meditation and holding crystals and doing affirmations and power poses, on and on. And I got to, I think it was 10 weeks, day 75, and I'm about to press broadcast and my heart is pounding hard in my chest. And I'm thinking, what is the matter with me? Why can't I get rid of this fear? And then it struck me that what would it take to get rid of the fear? And what I did was, instead of push through it, which I'd been doing for 10 weeks every single day, I decided to investigate it. And when I asked what this fear was about, what came up for me was I was going to be attacked. And I wondered, wow, attacked? Have I ever been attacked? And then I had this memory of when I was young and my mom, who favored me because I was the good girl, would tell my sisters, why can't you be more like Linda? And this totally annoyed my sisters because they wanted my mother's love and attention too. And as soon as she would leave, they would attack me, call me stupid, tell me to shut up, and they would pin me down and whatever. They have no recollection of this. We're good friends now. They have no recollection of this. But I carried this trauma in me. And it occurred to me like, oh my gosh, this is it. It's not what's happening as I'm speaking. It's not like I'm afraid of you, Jeff. It's that there's something in me that remembered it was dangerous to be the center of attention. Now, most people don't have two older sisters that were jealous of them and who attacked them, but you might have had teachers in school who were demeaning, or friends that bullied you, or expectations put on you, or any number, 1.5 million things that could have happened that gave you the message that it was not safe to be in the center of attention, to take up space, to be seen and heard. So I have a background in expressive therapies. Yeah. I thought, okay, what tools do I have in my pocket? And I tell you, this was amazing because I did work a lot for 5 days on this, but at the end of 5 days, it was gone. It was gone. I had resolved all the issues. I kind of combed through, like, who said what to me? Who did what? Why did I feel this and that? And I just, 5 days.
Wow.
And at first I was just feeling relieved. I thought, this is great. Now I can be on video. I can be live streaming and just relax and have fun. And then a couple of weeks later, I went, wait a minute. Maybe what I did for me might work for someone else. And then that's how I got into what I'm doing. So the first thing that I do with people, so I have 4 steps. The first thing I do is we go through the past, not like in therapy so much, but more like, okay, let's just bring it up to the light and see what needs to be healed. We go through school, we go through home, we go through the community. We bring stuff up to be investigated. And the second step is we resolve it. And it can be done with any number of modalities. You know, I did it for myself, so I know other people could probably do it for themselves too. But you have to get it to a place where you don't feel triggered anymore, where the things that upset you when you think back to those times you might have been hurt, that they no longer feel like a big deal. It's more like in black and white rather than in full color. And they feel like they're resolved and put to rest. And then the third thing is that we need to create a new sense of safety, because when you haven't felt safe before, you need to learn how to trust that you will be met with some positivity and positive regard, you know? And then the fourth thing is to repattern. And that's a fancy word for like learning new skills. So if you're not used to really expressing yourself because nobody was paying attention, no one acknowledged you or whatever, or you had to be a certain way to fit in, then you need to explore what is it to that, you know, would make delights you in expressing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's really cool. Now, if somebody else out there in the audience wants to do it, how exactly would they start?
On their own? To
Yeah.
do it on their own? I think the first step would be to think, when did you decide it was safer to hide?
You know, I think that fears can easily be broken down for people, because if you talk to them about what they're actually scared of, you can figure out that they'll say, well, what if I am hated? What if I am ridiculed? And it's like, what if you aren't hated? What if you aren't ridiculed? And I think asking somebody those questions can really help them. And I love this system, and it's just easy, and people like easy things.
Yeah, they do.
Themselves without paying other people.
Yeah, for sure. I love those questions too. Like, if you ask if they say, I'm afraid of being ridiculed, my next question would be, when were you ridiculed?
Yeah.
Who ridiculed you in the past? Or if you're afraid that people are not going to accept you, when have you not been accepted? And those point to those earlier experiences that you say, okay, in 7th grade, everyone decided they weren't going to talk to me. All right, well, let's see, what did that feel like? Let's bring that out, figure out what is that story about? And then find a way to, like, what do you need to put that at peace? What do you need to take that story and put it to rest?
All right, I have a good one for you.
Okay. What's yours?
I know that everybody well, not everybody, but there are some people in the world right now that are scared to death of getting COVID. And they don't know what's going to happen if they get COVID, which I completely understand, because you don't know what's going to happen when you get any disease, any virus. But what exactly would you tell them to help them deal with their fear?
Oh, okay. So the fear of the current situation as opposed to the past. Well, I I don't know. That's a really good question, Jeff. I'm wondering if there is a relationship between what I just spoke about and dealing with these current fears. I mean, I know what I do for these current fears. I mean, to me, it's like, were you afraid of getting are people afraid of just getting sick, like getting a flu or getting a cold, or like being sick for 3 weeks? Or are you afraid of dying?
Yeah. So, guys, this part in the show, I'm going to make a little interactive. So, I first of all want to say hi to Kelly and thank you so much for sharing. Hi to Mr. Darner. Hi to Robert J. Moore. Hi to my dad, Jeff Marconette Sr., the biggin. And I'm so happy that you guys are all watching this. And please share this video out because you never know who's dealing with fear right now and whose system or who could use Linda's system. So, and I also want you in the comments down below to tell us what you're afraid of. Why are you scared of getting COVID? Because I think that is a huge thing, and I'm hoping we can help you out tonight. So I want to say that Dad, Kelly Harder said, "Hi, Dad, Jeff." So I just wanted to point that out, and I'll let you go back to answering now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I almost feel like this is a different kinds of fears may take different kinds of approaches. But I'm going to be thinking about this, Jeff. After we get off, I'm going to think it'll be like, oh, I could have said that. I'm totally honest that I don't know how my approach necessarily would apply, except perhaps to investigate it. Like, investigate, what do you think will happen? And I think what I see out there, and this is totally my opinion, that people think that if they see someone, let's say, without a mask, that they're going to catch something. But so there's it's this elevated anxiety that is happening. So
does fear have a correlation with anxiety?
I would think so. I think anxiety is a type of fear. Stress is a type of fear. Like, even if you feel stressed, it's like, okay, what am I stressed about? You're afraid that you're not going to get something in on time. You're not going to finish something. You're not going to do it correctly. Whatever you're stressed about is a kind of a fear. Okay, so Kelly says, I'm not scared of COVID itself, but I'm scared of the politicians will not allow our nation to resume normality. I can't go through another mandatory lockdown. I know it feels really, really hard. Yeah, I know. I'm a little bit reluctant to get into any kind of politics here, because I don't think this is a political show.
No, I'm sorry if I made you feel like I was trying to get you to go that way. I wasn't doing that at all. I was just trying to help people deal with their fear, their anxiety, their stress, deal with all that, because I want people to be able to get up. And I've actually hosted 3 Get Up virtual conferences, and I will have my 4th Get Up virtual conference on August 2nd, and I hope everybody out there can watch that. And it's all about helping people get up. I don't want to see people stuck down there, being held down by media, being held down by politicians, being held down by this guy up here. And this guy up here is one of our biggest enemies, but it can be our biggest friend if we know how to use it.
Yeah.
But it's made to keep us safe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what in regards to this situation that we are engaging with, I I happen to be a big believer in our immune system. So
Yeah.
what I like to do is to think, how can I take better care of myself? And I do those things. And I do research on how to, because they even say people um, who are have lowered immunity are at most risk. So, okay, what can I do to uplift my immunity? What can I do to strengthen myself? So that gives me a sense of control over my own health. And I think that's what I would like to see people do, is to take control over their own health and not wait for a savior for some, because it's not like our bodies are vaccine deficient. We
Yeah.
can be deficient, but we're not vaccine deficient. We could be vitamin D deficient. We could be, we could have other mineral imbalances or whatever, but it's not like we are, exactly, Kelly says, definite self-care. We're doing that, exactly, and we must take our health into our own hands. I feel like one thing that has helped me, one article that really helped me a lot is, what is the load of contact that actually creates a transfer of a virus? And I think it was, don't quote me on here, but it was something like speaking for an hour face to face to somebody at close distance. That creates a load. So if you're walking past somebody, that tells me that's not contact. So
Yeah.
knowing that kind of thing, like what constitutes a kind of load that we're talking about, where we, need to be afraid, that's a good framework for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is great. Now, I understand that there is more going on in the world besides COVID, and so how can people get over their fear of racial injustice?
Oh, yeah.
Say they're black or say they're Asian. How can they get over their fear of racial injustice? And
Yeah.
instead of seeing all cops as problems, and even for cops, how can they get over their fear of minorities?
You're asking a big question here, Jeff.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that I know. No, don't apologize. These are
That's
great
uh,
questions. Great questions. Now, this is what I recommend. The racial injustice that we have, if people have experienced it for themselves, those constitute those exact experiences that impact your ability to feel like you can freely express yourself, because you feel you have to protect yourself. When you're protecting yourself, that's going to always be in the way of, against, that desire to be able to be free and speak freely. So it's the same four-part system. What are those experiences that happened? Where have you been diminished? Where have you been insulted? Where have you been belittled? And unfortunately, this is the case, but it is up to us as individuals to find a way in ourselves to resolve those very things, so that they don't define you, so that they are put to rest. And yes, there are difficult people out there. There are jerks out there. There are people who are not conscious. They're not aware. And they do make life difficult, but we still have the ability to, whatever is in our power, make it a better experience for ourselves. This is each of us, it's our life, and we deserve to create that experience that we want. And I want to just take one step further, what you say, Jeff, about like, what do policemen do? What do any of us do to make it a better situation? I really believe in a power of intentional visualization. So close your eyes and think about, how do I want to feel when I walk down the street? How do I want to feel when I am speaking to this group of people? And mentally rehearse the best outcome with the energy you want to feel, with all the feelings that you want inside yourself, and seeing how you're going to feel afterwards. And I think, not that I think, just think this, but I see it happening all the time. Athletes use it. Top musicians use this technique, that when we create that visualization in our mind, then it actually prepaves that neurophysiology so it actually can come to be.
Yeah. Wow. That is awesome. But you know, this show has gone on a little long, and that's partially my fault. And well, actually, that's completely my fault. But Kelly Harder says, I'm really putting you on the hot seat tonight. So I like doing that. That's my thing, to put people on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And I love it, because I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable, but I like to push boundaries.
Yeah.
So that might be a downfall for me. That might be something that was triggered from my past.
Maybe.
So I ask you one more time, if you could go over just the titles of the 4 steps.
Yes. So I call it the 4 R's to keep it straight. It's review the past, review the experiences you had, resolve them in the best way that you can.
Resolve,
restore safety. So get around some people that you feel safe with, that you can explore expressing yourself, and then to repattern. So that is, replace those contracting, that pulling in habits that we have from not being able to express ourselves, with new ones that make you feel more confident, that make you feel more relaxed, like practice being at ease, practice being more playful, practice taking up more space. That's repatterning. So review, resolve, restore, safety, and repattern.
That is amazing. And I hope you guys can either reach out to Linda on Facebook, or you can reach out to her here at her email address, which is Linda@LindaUgelow.com. I had to think about that for a minute. I see. I have the fear of getting that wrong again.
That's right.
But I'm dealing with that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So is there any other confirmation or any other information you'd like to give out?
Yes, I would like to encourage people to be kind to themselves wherever you are in the journey, and just to trust that if you are intentional, you are headed in the right direction. There's no rush. Just keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking. And you guys have to do me a favor. Remember one thing. Well, actually, more than one thing. But I am Jeff Marconette Jr. My show, Make Every Second Count Live, is on every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. But here's the big one. You have to remember to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when the seconds are going to run out on your one life. Again, I'm Jeff Marconette Jr. telling you to have a great night, and thank you all for watching.